Hello and welcome back to the ESL One Cologne B stream. We've just had our dinner cut short so that we can bring you Fnatic v Heroic. Joining me is the ever wonderful Hugo Byron. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm okay with our dinner getting cut short. This is going to be a tasty matchup, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Fnatic versus Heroic, the Swedes versus the Danes, and the Swede, obviously, on the team Modi. A very interesting one. I'm excited. Obviously, this is going to be the losers match, the 0-1 match. Both teams having just lost out on their matches. We saw Heroic earlier, obviously lose 16-14 to FaZe Clan very closely, and obviously Fnatic just dropping out to Mouseport 16-11.
Yeah, and heading into this one, we already know what the map is. We already know that it's going to be Mirage. How does that, make you feel as we prepare to head into this derby?
It's a hard one, right? Because we look at the map pool and we go, these teams, Fnatic's map pool is kind of unstable right now, just off the back of them, having these inconsistent performances. We look at how they they perform at these events, and we look at ECS 7th to 8th, SLI, Starlight SLI, they're something like 5th and 6th bracket. They're not getting top performances here, so we're not really seeing how they can compete against the top level of teams. Yeah. That being said, they're not playing all the small qualifiers like Heroic did, for example, so they're not exactly bashing on lower teams to increase their stats. Their map pool statistics, at least, are kind of really average. So going into this one, I expected either a Mirage or an Overpass. But we actually ended up on Mirage. Obviously, some people may say Cash, but this is a map that Heroic never play. Fnatic are very good at Cash, but it's Heroic's Instaman every single time. So that was never going to come through. So yeah, I think we're on equal playing field over on Mirage. It's an okay map for both teams. Obviously, I think it's going to be probably the hardest one we have to predict for today so far. But I think we ended up on a good map for it.
Yeah, and so as we get ready then, as we prepare to diverge into the realm of CS once more, who's your money on to win this one?
This is a really hard
I know
one.
It's tricky.
I'm actually gonna go for a bit of a wild card one. I've been correct on all my predictions so far, but I think this is probably gonna knock me off that streak. I'm gonna go with Heroic to take this matchup, just purely based off of the fact that they did very well earlier. Fnatic seem unstable right now, and Heroic seem a little more consistent. Obviously, with the recent addition to S-Tag, they seem to be a little bit better in that sense as well. The loss of Valdi was quite, shocking. It came out of nowhere. But S-Tag's a good player, and I'm actually going to go with Heroic, but they could just get whitewashed too.
I'm going to go with Fnatic.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm
differentiating
exactly.
opinions, right?
And as we said, we had our dinners cut short. I'm sure there's some betting odds we could sink our teeth into, which would be nice to take a look at. But as we get ready anyway for that to be brought up, we are going to be seeing this pissed around well and truly underway. Heroic kicking things off on the CT side, and already S-Tag, untamed aggression up through mid. Not going to be held back though. There's a player left behind to try and deal with him. So that mid aggression doesn't lead to anything, and actually in the meantime, JW and Dennis, they make their way up through lower tunnels. S-Tag going to decapitate the first, tries to get more work done. JW chipped away at. Finished off now by Nico as the rest of Fnatic try to swarm in towards the B-bomb site. JW, the last man to fall. They have been allowed to make their way out. Olaf going to go down, leaving this on Flusher and Crims. They get the bomb planted, but it's Crims in a 1v5.
Yeah, this round's almost undoable here. He gets the first one, Snappy falls, but the lack of armor will fall and, push him down at least. Yugi takes a kill, and Heroic, they kick it off. A nice start there. I like the mid-aggression from S-Tag, but typically after you see that, and he gets that first pick-off, he'll just, get spotted, he'll just fall back to connector. But instead, Heroic just pull all their players into middle. They move through the connector, they jump into the window, and they take those double kills in underpass, and then take out Olaf towards top of mid. Nice aggressive stuff from Heroic. Good chance to pick up the round, and yeah, here are the odds. Favouring Fnatic as I would expect, but it's not exactly a whitewash statistic. 1.45 thanks to Betway there. So yeah, I'd say that's expected. I'm going with a wild card pick regardless, and it seems like I'm right so far.
Fnatic in this round. They're already going to be eating a nice tasty nade. Charging on out in towards the A-bomb site. S-Tag able to find the first. Snappy to try and help out. Just even if he gets a taste of the action as they get completely annihilated. Flusher able to find one, but that should be it. Dancing around, still alive somehow. Finally going to go down to Yugi. And that is Heroic to find themselves now with a second round. They go ahead and convert that. The buy going to be coming in as they did get the bomb plant. No AWP in sight just yet for the side of Fnatic as they go with rifles and utility across the board as you would expect. Don't think they had the economy to support an AWP in this round anyway.
Let's see how these rifles fare for Fnatic coming into this one. Good utility on Heroic is going to be the main thing to watch out for. abundance of Molotovs here on the CT side and a bit of aggression. S-Tag's been so good at this since he joined. We saw it versus FaZe, and we're seeing it again. This time, though, he's on the receiving end of the damage. Forced down to 13s. He backs off. And Fnatic almost ready for this assailment over towards the A site. They've got 4 players in position, Harry. Just Flusher in mid, doing his lurk. Looking to catch a short rotation and eventually pushing through the connector to hit this A site, but Fnatic are poised perfectly for this. The only issue we're noticing is they have 2 single smoke grenades. One of them on Crims, who's stuck in the palace. He can't throw anything without being overexposed, and one of them on Flusher. Neither of them set up for this take, and Fnatic, at least for the time being, looking like they're playing this setup just off of aim.
Yeah, at the same time, you know, one good thing out having 2 smokes is you throw these in, and you can isolate 2 positions, right? Whether you use that for stairs and the cross, so then you only have to worry about CT, or you use it for CT and the cross, and you just have to worry about stairs. I imagine that's where we're going to see these thrown, right? Yeah. So it does still narrow down the options, and you know, in some senses that can help with the aim battles, right? You know that the only angles you're going to have to really pay attention to would be the one that isn't smoked, and you can't just have all eyes focusing on that. So could be something they could try to turn to their advantage, but are just going to be held back by Heroic as they burn through their utility. Now going to be pushing on through. They throw out that solitary smoke grenade over towards the cross. Going to smoke off jungle. S-Tag within the site, 13 HP. If he can get one, it is more than worth it. Peaks coming on through. JW the first man down into the site, but Olof and J-Dubs between them get themselves 2. Snappy still in CT, going to make things difficult, but Olof does shut him down. Flusher caught off guard with the flank coming in from Nico, leaving this now in a 2-on-3.
No utility left for the T's. They've got to take aim battles, but of course that's the breeding grounds for Fnatic. That's what they know and love. Modi tries to push in from the jungle, but Molotov's raining in. JW's going to be forced into the open. He's getting burnt like a crisp. JW, 5 HP left, and Nico will take the kill. 2 remain now for Fnatic. A crossfire establishes is perfect here for the T side, but there's only going to be 1 left now. Just Nico. He's spotted, he's banged, and Crims will take him down. It's going to be the round going to Fnatic. They pick up the first rifle. And 2-1 now, as Heroic's money is going to be a little bit crushed, but I would imagine they'd buy into this. I'm actually going to call in a pause, and I like this. Take a second, work out specifically what you want to invest, because if you look at the range of money, you have 1,400 on S-Tag and 4,400 on Modi. That's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, they could actually put a fairly decent buy together, but it's a technical timeout. So, not to break your heart there, Hugo Byron, but
could get some time anyway.
It is just going to be technical. Not sure what the issue is just yet, but they're going to make the decision to force buy up regardless. It's a TeamSpeak issue, I've just been informed. We're getting all the knowledge. This is fantastic.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, but that's why, you know, that's why the delay is occurring. It didn't take long to fix because it was just a minor problem, and now it is going to be the case that they buy on it down. S-Tag investing in the CZ and armor. They have a little bit of utility. It's a cobbled together buy with 3 rifles in play. And right now, Fnatic once again out towards mid early on.
I like this though. Bring in some aggression, switch up the pace. Snappy starts to push up towards ramp. And he's got a bit of a support as well from S-Tag there with the pistol, so good trade potential. Flusher's not going to be able to spot anyone clearing out these angles. He's going to have to fully expose himself if he wants to take a fight. Fnatic focusing in towards middle. 3 players at the top, 1 coming in through underpass. And this is perfect for the connector control, but they haven't got the bomb here, so they might need to drop a player back. Olofmeister more likely than not to grab that if they want to commit. Looking for a pick before they do so, looking to work out exactly what Heroic are going to be showing in terms of buy and JW. Looking like he just wants to push in through the smoke. That would be classic, but he's not going to opt for it instead. That would be a perfect move right now. The setup from Heroic is, you know, no information towards that connector area. We've got 1 player over in the window, that's Yugi, but he's got to focus on both mid and that connector. And JW is going to be allowed to slip on through. Oh, it's all down to timing. Yugi's on the other side, and there's the pick. That's why you got to watch connector, boys and girls, as Yugi will fall. JW can rush the A site. There's going to be Snappy defending S-Tag with a pistol, but he is overwhelmed and leaves it all on Muddy.
Yeah, in the 1v3, has himself the M4 bomb crossing out towards A for Fnatic. The plant going to come in, and that leaves Muddy high and dry in towards the B-bomb site. Will be the case of trying to save. That's going to allow Fnatic now to climb it to a second round as it goes all tied up. We can see Muddy still yet to frag. S-Tag, I think he's been pulling his weight right now in a big way. I mean, it was a pickup where everyone kind of thought they'd be way worse off without Valdi. And I'd say, you know, he's done a great job of filling those boots.
Yeah, I mean, we're early days, right? They haven't played an official in 40 days before today. But yeah, that's the thing, right? Heroic just seem to be doing really well, picking up these talents from lower tier Danish teams, i.e. Tricked, and making them work. And
then having them stolen.
Yeah, exactly.
Not yet, but who knows?
When they were all in Trick, they were kind of, you know, they were okay, but they were never really a great team by any means. They never attended any LANs, any top LANs. I mean, Tricked's first proper LAN was, what, DreamHack Tour? And even then, I mean, unless you count Copenhagen Games, that was a bit smaller though. And even then, you know, they never really attended too many. But now moving on to Heroic, same players, just different kind of build-up. They're working around Modi and Snappy, they're working around the Heroic org, and it seems to be doing a lot better for them. Nico and Yugi specifically have gone absolutely massive since their pickups. And S-Tag, he's been top of the ball for, you know, most of the games we've seen so far. So I'm interested in seeing how this carries on and if they can have the same success.
Over in mid, Modi, he's been boosted up, and he's just going to be looking down on the Swedes. Olaf looks back and takes his face clean off. Now the push going to be coming out. S-Tag firing away. There's loads of players in Connector, but the Mac 10 going to mop them up as the Mac Daddy himself, Flusher, chimes in with 2 on that. Nice $1,200 made. The buy going to be coming on in from both sides. Cash is kept relatively low for Fnatic, all things considered. I mean, that round there could have been a hell of a lot worse. We could have just seen the Mac 10 farm up plenty of frags, but that's not the case. And for Heroic this time, it's rifles across the board. Good bit of utility behind it, and the defuse kit on Nico.
Oh, that's perfect. I love those kind of smokes. Really good.
Flush is just the definition of finesse.
It's so unnecessary as well. You can line that up without going for the running one.
That little bit extra. That's such a Flusher thing.
Style points, man.
He lines the smoke up through the wall.
Oh dear, love it. 3-2 though. Fnatic in the lead, and Flusher, the aforementioned man, probing towards ramp. Flash comes in, that blinds JW as well, but no one's going to be taking the fight from Heroic. Passive play, and lucky for them, because this AWP is going to be dangerous. A smoke will hold off JW, or it should do, but he looks to push out of it. Held back at the last second. S-Tag double checks, they know what he's like. But no monkey business coming out from the side of Fnatic right now. They're just waiting for the utility to be expended by Heroic, and it almost is. 2 smokes left here for the CT side, 1 on A. Already, Fnatic don't care. They've charged out. Flush has taken the Tetris control. We have the AWP moving itself out of the Palace as well. And plenty of time left, but Fnatic, they're taking names.
Yeah, Flusher, the man already in the sight. Oh, gets caught switching weapons, but S-Tag completely unaware. Somehow he's still alive and kicking, and he's still going. Gets himself a second. The trade is going to come in from Yugi. Now Modi and Yugi in this 2v3. Bomb is going to be planted. They have to desperately dispatch of one of these players. JW, it could be him. Tagged him low within the site, but it's Crims to turn this one around. Drops out Yugi, leaving this all on Modi now. 1v3. JW. Oh, there we go. Not vintage JW there. Not going to be too great. They do lose him. The AWP could be picked up, and Fnatic don't really want to go hunting for this. I mean, it does mean Heroic get to keep the AWP in the next round. They get relatively little apart from that. And as I said, I mean, Fnatic's, you know, money has been kept relatively low, all things considered. So they'll have the Catalyst AWP into the next round, but that will be it for Heroic. Fnatic can buy up.
Yeah, so good damage done either way, but still, they're not picking up rounds, and that's what's important. Getting very, very close to doing so, though. And Heroic now, pistols are going to be out, buying around that AWP on the side of Modi. Not too much to play with by any means.
From Fnatic this time, it's slow over in mid. Countered by this fast play from Modi up towards Palace. Flusher is right there on the other side of the pillars, about to peek out. Modi has to be careful. He's already lost S-Tag over in mid. That's where Heroic attention now is going to be fairly fixated. Oh, that almost that was a bit awkward, just kind of dancing around. Happy feet. But now into the 4-on-4. They've got themselves the AK up on Snappy. Gained themselves a second rifle to try and make some magic happen with, and it looks like Fnatic are just going to head and dry up towards short. No smokes down for Connector. Sneaking on by already. Modi rotating around with the AWP. It's Nico to watch Apps, who could make a difference. Peeking out towards short, JW shuts him down. Now leaving this on Modi with the AWP as one of the last bastions of hope in towards the B-bomb site.
Bomb drop, though, will be retrieved to go to the plant as well, and Olaf will commit to that, but it's still a 3-on-3. Despite what Heroic had invested into this round, they've actually really got quite a good, formidable situation out of it, but lack of armor is going to be a real issue for Snappy as Dennis expects the corner, holds it. Snappy baits it, does spawn him out. Molly as well, that's counteractive. That's going to hold him back from even going for the play. As he tries to burn out Dennis, JW is going to be going big with the AWP. 3 for him so far. And Snappy, after mollying himself out of position, is going to have to run back, but he's been heard. Dennis has already shifted background to CT. And he will be there to close it out. Fnatic, a 5th round on the board. This is the thing I was worried about. I said Heroic were maybe going to take this away, but this seems like Fnatic are just going to be going nope and kicking them in the teeth while they're down.
That was very graphic, Hugo. This is a family show.
Herb stomped Harry.
But yeah, Yugi and Snappy going to be picking up AWPs for Heroic. JW in his prime was worth 2 AWPers on any good day, so should be all fine. As Fnatic turn their attention over here towards B. 1 man out in middle, it's going to be Olafmeister. Trying to grab some ground, and no one from Heroic too keen on challenging this. 3 players for Fnatic over here in Apps, taking this slowly. Complete change of pace right now from the Swedes. Olaf's been allowed to sneak in through mid. Heroic just using their utilities to keep Fnatic at bay, but it seems like it will just be the contact B play. They've slowed right down. Nico and Modi here to try and keep the Swedes at bay, and as that smoke starts to dissipate, JW trying to spot on through. A second one thrown in, but this time it looks like the Swedes' patience has worn thin. Oh, down goes Modi. JW entering into the site, in through the wall, drops out. Nico's still got more work left to do, but fantastic entries. I said he was worth 2 AWPers on a good day, and today is definitely a good day for JW. Gets himself a second, still got more work left to do, but Olafmeister over in mid, already willing to shut down these rotates. This is all over for Heroic.
Yeah, needs to just go save, hold on to 3 guns. Not going to be allowed to though. Dennis takes down an onto Yugi, and this is the point where you just got to run. There's no point. You haven't done enough damage in this round so far to make it worth it. And Heroic just need these guns. They need to be able to buy up sooner or later. They've got loss bonus now at a max. They should be able to buy around these 2 saved weapons as long as they hold on to them. And I think that's kind of wrapping around to... Thorin, I'm not sure if you watched it, made a little video, I think it was yesterday, about the importance of saving. And I thought that was really important, you know, to highlight in terms of pros over-facing in the exit scenarios, especially on the CT side, where they should be holding on to guns. Because they have the loss bonus in effect now, they can buy round 2. They can't buy round 1 properly. They would have to have a pistol. So right now it's very important we see Heroic hold on to at least 2, preferably 3 weapons to take it to the next round, and they do so. So now they can fully invest. You can see full rifles coming in, utility is not even that bad. And that's just off the back of them not over-facing too heavily in the post plants. But either way, they, again, forfeit another round. 6 in a row for Fnatic. JW has been a naughty, naughty person so far this map. He's looking to continue with the cheekiness as he pushes out through ramp, barely gets tagged by Snappy, and just falls back unpunished. How does this happen?
He's able to get the first, still wants to get more work done. Flush has been allowed to make his way out in the meantime. That pop flash is perfect, but Snappy, this is the shot. JW and Flusher both fall as Snappy takes the aggression. He's finally had enough. Olaf comes in to mop up. Nico from short finds some fantastic damage downrange, and look at this flank from Modi. This could be the difference maker, the linchpin of this round as he sneaks his way in from behind. Just gonna go charging on through. And that bomb having to be picked up could make this very difficult now for Fnatic. It's taken it much longer to get into the site. It's allowed Modi to sneak on by. He pounces straight away though, so now they know he's on the flank. Turns it into the 2-on-2. Olaf's been tagged down low previously from Nico, who still has a boatload of utility left. Molotov gonna miss its mark, but Nico still finds the first one to Dennis, leaving this on Olafmeister, who spots the first out, but he's playing this perfectly. He's just gonna let them cross, and they don't bother checking it. Out in the open, they're running around like headless chickens. Finds the first, still got more work left to do, but he's played this one perfectly. Modi in the 1v1. Olafmeister, so close, but it will be Heroic to clutch that round out. Making my heart skip a beat there.
that could have been something else for Olof. Running around the smoke as well, clever play, not even committing to just ring around the rosy on the boxes. He was trying to make his way to, you know, as far deep as he could get away from that bomb. Unfortunate, low HP, just gets spammed on through, and Heroic actually pick up the round, but again, at what cost? They lose 4 players, they do save the AWP for Yugi, but they still lose a hell of a lot of money in that investment. Again, the fancy smoke going down mid for Flusher. But yeah, right now, Heroic, they're just on the tipping point. If Fnatic pick this up, we're going to see a really hard reset, and that is going to screw over the Danes for a while. Couple of ecos going to be needed. Eco, aggression in mid, nice boost there, going to be able to catch out Crims, takes the first pick here for Heroic, falls back as well, no need for over-aggression, instantly we see the shift. S-Tag moves out of that connector area and just moves back towards the site. There's no reason for Heroic to be taking fights now. Let Fnatic make the next play. Heroic have done their job. And the next play Fnatic will be making as they push themselves deeper in towards middle.
Moddy's the one in a tricky spot here. He's down in lower tunnels, and while they shouldn't see this coming, it could potentially net him one, but no, he peeks out, and that gives away the man advantage back the way of Fnatic. Well, you know, returns it to a 4-on-4 at least, so we're all equal. Now there's only one man inside the B-bomb site, which right now is where Fnatic look to go pouring on in. It's Nico, effectively in a 1v4, spots the first out, able to get it, but the trade comes in instantly from Dennis. Now the bomb plot going to come through. It will be a 2-on-3 in the retake. Bomb goes down, and now it's Heroic on the clock.
Should be doable, but Flush's position is good for a couple of kills if they don't check it. They could easily walk past this. With 3 of them filtering out the market, if the first person doesn't check it, the other 2 would just blindly follow. This could be perfect. Flusher waits. Dennis distracts. Yugi does take the kill in return, but again, Flusher, he still sits in his close position. It's checked. They line up. Flusher, absolutely sick. Takes both kills, and Fnatic pick up the round.
That spray transfer from Flusher was just fantastic. Fnatic right now looking like they're in good form, which is something that we haven't seen in a while. They will have a 4-round lead. The economy of Heroic going to be bottomed out into this round. Buying down what they can. Going to be a couple of Ds, some utility. Armor up behind it as well, all with the exception of Yugi. Looks like Fnatic, in response to this, going to turn their attention out towards mid. Nico. Chip to where? Has to finally fall on back inside the B-bomb site. And now, 3 players for Heroic currently in A. They're going to go ahead and loop back through CT spawn there, stacking most of their forces out towards A, leaving Moddy alone on B. How Fnatic is set up, they're first going to try and grab control of mid and then make their minds up. With no player in apps, with the push coming in through lowers, it looks like they could definitely make their way in towards the A-bomb site here, especially when you look at Flush's positioning over towards T-spawn. Just waiting to see if Heroic give away an early frag, as now they look to try and grab control of connector. Sees this and go on to conquer the rest of the A-bomb site.
This is a nice reactive play. They push down ramp, they're set up almost for the retake, and this may catch Fnatic off guard if they don't check their close angles. Dennis starts to move on through. Fnatic feigning a bit of short presence, but finally they make their way in through A. S-Tag sitting close. They shouldn't expect these kind of angles, but they run around the corner and they will take heads. Dennis and JW picking up the first entries. Only 1 return from Nico, and Snappy's alone. Already this round is over. 10 seconds left, but that's enough to hunt him down.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the armor and the D, so he just wants to try and hold on to it. They are going to go hunting. Fnatic don't want to let him take anything out of this round. If he's able to find 1, however, could give him something to work with into the next, especially seeing as Olof has taken all this aggression on his own shoulders, trying to push up on his lonesome. Bomb's still got a good bit of time on it, and Snappy as he reroutes in through lower tunnels. Fnatic have got Crims waiting in connector. There's players nearby to trade this out. But if the timing's in his favor, we could see him net himself an AK. Dennis offers himself up on a silver platter and will go down. Olof coming in from behind, the rest of the players out through connector. Snappy does the damage, only gets 1. JW trades that back, gets himself the double. And that is Fnatic in with an 8.
This is just so good. This is perfect for Fnatic. They're just running into sites and not missing shots. It's classic. Of course it's against Heroic, not to put a downer on anything, but I want to see how they can perform going up against some of the best teams in the world. Obviously, Heroic, definitely a formidable opponent, but I'd like to see if this same kind of scoreline can be repeated up against the likes of SK, Astralis, or FaZe, if, in the case that these guys get matched up against any of them in the groups. A couple of nades for Heroic. Default pistols, already spotted an A, and there's the first kill, or second kill of the round. Make that the third. Flusher's not having an issue here, just running on in. It's only Armorless players, so we're really not expecting too much, but this is really lackluster from Heroic. It seemed like they weren't even aware of the A site push. Fnatic just run out, and Heroic are just sitting in the middle of the sites with their hands down their trousers.
Heroic will be buying up the AWP on Yugi. Doesn't have armor behind it though. He's going to be heading into this one in the nude. He makes his way over towards mid with the AWP. Aim punch going to come into full effect. So even up against the rifles, he is incredibly vulnerable. JW tries to land that shot on the player jump peeking. That was Modi, who has to count his blessings that he wasn't taken down in the first 15 seconds of the round. JW now turns his attention over here towards lower tunnels. Fnatic, the rest of the Swedes, just biding their time once again, seeing if Heroic give them any sort of aggression. Now making their way in through mid. With Crimson Flasher left out towards the A-bomb site, it looks like it's going to be another A split. They need to smoke off short. They need to keep Nico from doing any damage if they want to seize control of connector.
Still no pick coming out. 50 seconds left. Finally, S-Tag will strike. There's Dennis. One kill for the side of Heroic, but a lot more is going to be needed as JW rounds the corner to 50-50. He's going to check the right side, and it's good timing for S-Tag to go for that peek. He takes it. JW drops to the ground now, and now Fnatic left in an awkward spot. Time is of the essence, and they still haven't found a pick back. Olaf hunts for one towards a window, but he may just get spotted around the corner as Nico starts to push up on short. It's all down to timing. Doesn't see the barrel of the gun as Olaf turns, but if he continues any more, he should be able to spot him. This is so terrible for Nico. It's so unlucky. Finally, he sees him, and he will take it, leaving just Flusher and Crims. Nothing coming out for the side of Fnatic. Unfortunately, looking for those individual picks down through A is not going to be working out, and Crims attempts to get the bomb towards B, but just gets denied by Nico. Heroic do pick up a fourth round. They keep it strong on the CT side, and they keep a lot of money as well in the bank as Fnatic are forced to buy up once again.
Yeah, and they are able to buy up into this one, but when you look at the money, Hugo, for Fnatic, they really don't have much left to invest into the next.
Neither team do, that's the thing. Both these guys are on the tipping point. This is what makes these kind of games fun, because we're up to second last round now, so whoever loses this is going to be force buying for the last of the half. That's really awkward. That's not the position you want to be in, especially at a scoreline this dominant for Fnatic. Heroic, they really need to pick up this round, because then they can get 9-6.
Oh, Yugi gonna open things up. Olaf Meister hits the deck in mid. Nico, oh, just charges up through window. You hear him rotating around, but weren't able to connect that shot. Meanwhile, over at ramp, Flusher is here alone, about to start facing off with Snappy. He's holding that close angle. Fnatic looking dedicated out towards A, but now he's got Yugi and CT to worry about. Takes the peek, and Yugi's quicker on the trigger. Down it goes, Flusher, the danger man for Fnatic. And now it's Crims, Dennis, and JW. Left in the 3-on-5. Yugi been the real problem for Fnatic right now. They've been given control of mid, but when you look at it, they've lost control of everywhere else. They are going to be in an awkward spot, trying to head in towards A, especially with Snappy taking the aggression all the way down ramp. Have no information that he's there either.
And even with Modi pushed up in the apartments, he got the info earlier on that Fnatic just weren't putting any pressure on this side of the map. So S-Tag's got to be expecting some connector control, and he does. JW's down. That's not the first time he's won that duel. And now Fnatic, they've lost 3 picks in the favour of one. In favour of none, sorry. That's just how the cookie crumbles. They're losing out on players, and they have 10 seconds left to run into B. It doesn't look doable, but they're going to give it a shot. As a plant is attempted, Nico shoots through the smoke. It's all onto Crims. 8 seconds left. It's not happening. Modi takes him down. And Heroic, they'll pick up the round. 5 to them. And as I mentioned, Harry, the money is going to be what comes back to haunt Fnatic in the final one of the half.
Yeah, they can invest 2 rifles, a UMP up on Olaf. Still lackluster by Snappy, now going to be donning an AWP of his own as Heroic looks to try and pick themselves up a 6. This time, going to be a bit of a change of pace. 3 players for Fnatic over here towards A. They leave Olaf Meister over to watch mid. JW up in apps. They're going to go for the A split once again. JW held back by that Molotov. Going to postpone it just a little bit more. Smokes and flashes rain in. Fnatic now looking to push out from ramp. The late flank going to come in from Olaf in mid, but he's already been guillotined. Nico to finish him off has to also worry about JW. He's made his way up through connector, able to find the first, but then burns into fire and flames. Down he goes. Flusher within the site, finds some damage out through the smoke. Dennis takes the aggression, going to decapitate Yugi. And now it's the 3-on-3. Bomb could go down here. It's Snappy and CTU could make all the difference. Here's the bomb plant coming out, takes the peek, caught out in the open, but Crims finishes him. It's going to be the 2-on-3 in the retake. Modi and Nico, all that remain for Heroic in this round.
Seems like they bit off a little bit more than they can chew. So they attempt to push back into this one. Obviously it's the last round, they have to go for it. And Utility's okay here. Terrible on Fnatic, but they've still got the man advantage, and Dennis on that AWP. So Nico starting to push up. He's running out of time, frankly. It doesn't look doable. He takes the first. Crims will fall. Good damage onto Flusher, but it's not enough to get the job done. Smoke will go on the bomb. He can probably just stick this, but no, the smoke misses. That's fatal. That will be it. Fnatic's just going to pick it up off the back of that. A failed smoke from Nico there in the last couple of seconds of the half. And there we go. Heroic lose the round, and that will be it for Fnatic.
Yeah, a 10-5 half. We will be back after a very quick break to talk you through and get into the second. Hello and welcome back. Hugo,
Harry,
we've seen something fantastic. That wasn't rehearsed, by the way. That was smooth. We've seen something fantastic, and that is, what looks like a bit of a resurgence from Fnatic, at least in this. I mean, I was expecting it to be a little bit closer, in all honesty. I think from what we've seen from Fnatic thus far, they haven't really ever returned back to that old form, and I think that's something that everyone can agree with. Heroic, they put on a relatively good show. I'd say Yugi's been my man to watch thus far. Based on what you've seen, what needs to be changing heading into this T-side half for Heroic?
I mean, nothing needs to change really. It was just that Fnatic were running into sites and winning every single A battle. Like,
fair enough.
Vintage, but now we
speaking of vintage, Flusher lands a crazy shot down here with the USP. Looking to try and get more work done. Spots the players in over towards short, but it's Olaf to start tapping away. Gets himself one of his own. In the meantime, S-Tag, he's the man to keep an eye on, worked his way up into the back line, and this could be huge right now for Heroic. Two players looking completely the wrong way. S-Tag able to get the first, Crims ducking, dying around, trying to stay alive, but it's Snappy to help out. The man advantage secured by Heroic. As he looks to try and get his man out of danger in connector, will be able to do so. That's the bomb cross to sight. Plant will come in, Olaf. Looking to try and outflank the players within this site, has to worry. Most S-Tags tag low in mid, hiding in lower tunnels. The peek comes in from Olaf, does manage to pick that up, but he's still got two more left to find.
Yeah, and time is of the essence. Kit going to make things easier, but still not an easy clutch by any means. The bomb isn't really planted for the Tetris player, so if he can drop the Palace guy, this could be good, but he's checking all the right angles. He has no idea where these guys are as he moves on in. Reposition over towards ramp from one of them, and now he starts to get chased. Snappy just pushing up close, and with the support of Yugi peeking out of the Palace at a similar time, Heroic couldn't have lost that round if they tried. 6 rounds to the T side, and you asked me just before what they could really do to switch things up. I think let's just see how these early T side rounds go, because you know we haven't seen Heroic on the T side yet. They were very strong against FaZe earlier on, while they had a bit of a shambles over on CT Inferno. They brought it back quite heavily. It was also a 10-5 in favour of FaZe, and then they brought it back to a 16-14. So again, let's not count Heroic out, but Fnatic are looking very vintage, as you said.
Heroic have been allowed control of mid, just handed to them by their Swedish overlords over on the CT side. Smoke goes down the window. What's going to smoke offshore? And now with everywhere smoke, they've got control of mid, but they've left themselves with very little in the way of options. Flusher through smokes. Tags S-Tag down at 1 HP. Dennis going to fall within the B-bomb site, and now fighting for his life. It's Olaf, but his life expectancy no longer than a couple of seconds. JW in with his fabled CZ. Oh, nice quick shot there on the S-Tag. Will be the 2-on-3. They've done decent damage regardless. Crims up on short, takes the peek and actually finds Snappy, so now things get dangerous. JW's here as well to start this tirade in towards the site. The 2-on-2, JW with the AK, knows that one of these players is here. Starts to round the corner, very little time left. They've got to be fast if they want to try and clutch us out, but he snuck all the way up. There's players within the site. He's touching their back practically, but him and Crims, they clutch it out. He gets the kit as well. There's enough time left. Fnatic in with an 11th, a round that never should have been. JW and Crims clutch out an impossible 2v2, carrying Fnatic forward to an 11th. Sensational stuff.
How do you throw that, man? How do you lose that round? Why? Dear oh dear, Heroic. That was not good for the confidence. Overfacing clearly, and Fnatic, that's the thing, you can't give them an inch, because they will take a mile. So Heroic now left with just a single AK, Tech 9s across the board. Fnatic, plenty to challenge this one. It's going to be the underpass control taken early on. He starts to push his way in. And draw towards the top of middle as well, but again, these Tech 9s aren't known for their range. Yugi is going to have to be the point man if they want to pick up this round. He's going to have to do some serious work, or at least someone with that AK-47 or a similar rifle as well, as they start to take this control. The essence of this play is just to burst out onto A, but with just Modi on ramp, the one position where you can really throw these good smokes, he hasn't got a smoke. So right now, Heroic are in a really awkward spot. They can't smoke off jungle, they can't smoke off CT, and this is going to mean Crims from a range can just tap onto these players.
Yeah, Heroic now converging on to connector, ready to begin their barrage of the A-bomb site. Smokes and flashes out, charge on through. Crims now expected to step up in a big way from CT. S-Tag's wormed his way up into window. Trapped in the corner, JW and Crims pull this back. The bomb has been dropped over in CT, and this round comes crumbling down around Heroic. Yugi's got himself an AK. But Flusher does not care. That's the team ace for Fnatic. Everyone pulling their weight equally.
See, the weird thing about that round is Heroic have the smokes to play with, but they focus in towards the middle with all the smokes, and they don't use any on the A site. Now that surprises me quite a lot, because typically you want to get off that CT angle. You don't want anyone killing you from that kind of position. So why would you not utilize a smoke towards, you know, where your exact counter, the range? When you have a Tech 9, play close, play in jungle, play in connector. Don't let the CT be an issue.
No time for this though. Waterfall on out, and down they go.
No problem.
Oh, say that. Yugi. No, there you go. JW should take up basketball, throwing nades like that. Slam dunks Yugi out the round. And Fnatic now in with the 13th. It was looking promising for Heroic. They win out the pistol. And then they lose the conversions, handing it over to the Swedes, putting them at a 7-round advantage.
They had everything going for them for the comeback, that's the thing. Very, very unlucky, but it isn't over until Fat Lady sings. And while she may be warming up her vocals, she's not started just yet. So Heroic back on the rifles into middle. There's some aggression here from Dennis. He's going to be pushed all the way up, and he gets blinded. Good utility usage, and Heroic not missing a shot. Snappy and Yugi to strike. JW gets aggressive in the Palace and does manage to drop Modi out of the equation, but still Heroic remains strong. A 4-on-3. Nade down towards lower, could do some damage, and it will, but Heroic will still get the boost off. And this may catch them out, but Crims has already rotated back in, and Heroic falling from a 5-on-3 back to a 3-on-3. Look at this stack, though.
Yeah, Fnatic, they've actually opted to stick everyone inside a B, and this could pay off in a big way. Nico and Yugi starting to push up. Olaf takes the peak and knocks them down like big fleshy dominoes. It's all on S-Tag. 1v3 over in Connector. And this round is all said and done. Fnatic have full control of the bomb. S-Tag sneaking on through the back lines. Could potentially make some magic happen, but at the end of the day, Fnatic at this point should be expecting someone to come in on the flank. Everyone grouped up on the bomb, 40 seconds left, no utility. Every single odd in the book is stacked against him right now. But he's still looking curious. And curiosity did kill the cat, so he's going to make the decision actually to go ahead and leave. Maybe self-boost up towards short. Oh, movement of a god. Puts his way up. Yeah, well, there you go. Olaf, 2 steps ahead. Drops him out the equation, and Fnatic now 14-6, 1 away from match point. Look at this from Olaf.
That's the best thing as well, because he gets those kills off the back of, aggro push down apartments, and as a result, S-Tag doesn't know that, they've stacked B. Because all they saw was one player in apartments, and it was a 3v3. They could have made the assumption there were still players on A. That's why S-Tag took so long to get through the A site, because he thought, they'd probably split up here. But, no, unfortunate for him. And again, Fnatic, they're being relentless with this one. Olaf is pushed all the way up. There's S-Tag on the other side, but he's only got a Tech 9 to work with. And if Olaf gets flashed in here, he could do some great work. JW down lower, does get spotted. And he'll have to fall back, but Olaf certainly won't as he waits for the flash to come in. There's the peak. There's the spot. He's got the info.
Yeah, the flash wasn't ideal. The nade does find some damage. Molotov to try and burn S-Tag out. Things get hot and spicy as he's forced into the crosshair of Olaf. Olaf and JW between them just lighting up these Danes over towards top mid. And now the remaining right players looking to try and charge out towards A. Actually able to find Dennis. They cross out with the bomb, and Nico's apparently a monster with the Tech 9. Gets himself 2. He's still got more work left to do. But he has got the bomb down. Now it's a 1v3. Fnatic coming in for the retake. It's going to be the case that we've got 2 players coming in from short, JW and Flusher. Crims on his lonesome in shot. Damage done by Nico. Lands the dink, but JW out Tech 9s him at range. And that is going to be the defuse to come in. Fnatic with a 15th on the scoreboard. 1 away from winning out this series very convincingly.
But what a stomp as well. We've had some seriously close games there. A couple of 16-14s, 16-10s. And now we go to this. This is not the game I would have looked at today and gone, this will be a stomp. This was a game I thought would actually be a hell of a lot closer. Crazy to think that Heroic, haven't been able to come back off the back of that pistol win. But regardless, again, another opportunity to strike. It's a grave situation though. JW in through. Don't have the aggression. Molotov forces the player and connected back. Flusher has to fall. Heroic, they've had really no success from here. They've not really tried to execute, they've not tried a fast B play, they've just been focusing on this middle area, but they haven't had a lot of T-side rounds to play with rifles. So taking into account, Fnatic had a pretty dominant half in their favour, so now moving on to this one. Heroic only had a few attempts, and this time hoping to switch things up. They set up outside B mainly, obviously with the top mid control once again, but not too heavy, waiting for Fnatic to bring that relentless aggression that they've been showing this entire map on the CT side. JW, exactly that, falls into underpass, moves back towards connector, does spot the flash, almost hits the shot as well as Heroic start to cross towards the boxes.
Dodgy bullets left and right. You can see Yugi wanted to wish him a swift good night, but does miss the connecting shot. JW ducking and weaving around, still alive. Heroic now turning their attention onto middle once again. This time later on in the round, they're going to be rotating a player back in through T-spawn to rejoin the potential offensive that could come in. Nico's up connector. Smoke now going to start to fade. JW in with the first, but he's got players in the backline who should shut him down. That's their purpose. But JW, he's firing on all cylinders, goes ahead and drops out Modi as well. Still got more work to do, but JW throwing multiple spanners in the works, drops out 3. Crims finishes us off, and that is Fnatic 16-6 in their favor. Fantastic stuff from them. And can I just say that that was wonderful from JW. I think he was one of the players who was having a standout game, and it's been a while since we've seen him look in top form, but you can even tell, right? He's someone who I just kind of say, with the AWP, I think he's probably one of my players who has the best movement while he's using that gun, at least with his very, very unique style of play. And we haven't really seen that as of late, and that was a fantastic return to what we once kind of new JW4.
Yeah, I mean, the AWP nerf crushed him back in the day, back a couple of years ago. So, watching him kind of come back to the same form that he was at prior to that, to some extent at least, is really nice to see as well. I think you got to also pick up on Olofmeister. He had a great game. He kind of fell off after that wrist injury, but now he's back in this team. He's moved on back. They're doing very well. They've got the full roster together, and that was a great win for Fnatic. I don't want to look too deep into it in the sense that we don't know how they're going to perform against maybe some tougher opponents, but definitely a good win versus Heroic. Nice and convincing. Proves that they're still on top of this kind of level, but it's the top level where they start to fall down. It's the G2s, it's the Astralises that they can't really take away. So Fnatic have actually done a really good job in proving that they're not at the level of Heroic, but they've still got a long road to go.
That's something I can get behind. And the main thing as well, kind of about the quite perfectly summed up is up against these sorts of opponents, we would expect them to win it out. That said, I mean, with how Fnatic have done in the past, with how they've looked, it has been that feeling of uncertainties. We would expect to, but we can't guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. So it was nice to see them step up and not win it, very, very closely, not struggle too much. It looked comfortable, and that was, quite refreshing to say the least. Yeah,
inconsistency is something that plagues them, but hopefully after a few months now, what have they had, 3, 4, 5 months together, they'll start to get rid of that, in theory, right? So hopefully we'll see a little bit more from them this event. Surprising to see them fall down to Mousebot so heavily and then just dominate Heroic, so maybe that gives a bit of a suggestion that Heroic aren't at the level that we were expecting, or maybe it was just a map pick or other variables. It's really hard to put everyone on a comparison level, but Mousebots have been doing very, very well. Obviously I can imagine they're going to get a bit of a tough matchup. I think the draws are already through, but I'm not sure who they're up against. Either way, Fnatic now rally out 1-1, Heroic 0-2, so just one map off of elimination from ESL One Cologne, and while they were one of the weaker teams to actually, well, one of the 2 teams to qualify and one of the weaker teams in the event, it would be a shame to see them go so fast.
Yeah, and speaking of going so fast, that's something you shouldn't do as we get ready to head over to a quick break before we get back with the next game. Stick around.